With France having dunked on Japan only 5 minutes into the game and Ego using the same formation he used in the Nigeria game, I've taken it upon myself to create my own and obviously much better lineup for the U20 Japan team. Now, when it comes to making the best possible lineup with the players available to you, it heavily depends on the formation you choose, as depending on the formation, some players would play over others. So, taking that into account, I've gone with one of the most popular starting lineups in modern football, that being the 4-2-3-1. A little bit of soccer knowledge, the 4-2-3-1 is a formation that heavily focuses on midfield play, passing your opponents off of the field. Its major strengths are, as I said before, dominating the midfield, a strong degree of defensive stability with 2 defensive midfielders to help the back 4, giving the fullbacks freedom to push up the field and even join the attack. This formation also allows teams to keep possession and inspire build-up play from almost any angle. With 5 midfielders, the lone striker potentially dropping back, and even the fullbacks pushing up a bit, it's nearly impossible to get the ball off of a team that has perfected this formation. This can then transfer into a ferocious attack with all 5 midfielders pushing high up along with the lone striker to overwhelm the team's defense and score loads of goals. This formation was famously used by the 2008 to 2012 Spanish national team, and look at what they were able to accomplish when this formation is perfected. Other teams like Germany's 2014 side that won the World Cup, early 2010 Real Madrid, and even Jose Mourinho's treble-winning Inter Milan side used it as well. It's one of the best formations a team can use as it checks almost every box in the book. But enough yapping about boring soccer analytics. You came here to see the lineup. So without further ado, let's create Japan's World Cup winning team. Starting with the defense in between the sticks, it's Fukaku. I'm kidding. It's Gengakamaru. Sorry, Fukaku. But who else was it really going to be? This guy is the only good keeper Japan has, and it wasn't really going to be a competition. With his recent reflex training before the U20 World Cup and his abnormal control with his body, allowing him to make handstand saves while reacting late, this guy is the only Japan player I trust to be our last line of defense. Moving to our left back, I have Chigiri Hyoma, Blue Lock's fastest character, as he's shown multiple times that his speed can be used for both offense and defense. On the offensive side of the ball, he can quickly dribble past players and make key passes in threatening areas, pairing this with his 44 Panther Snipe, which he can dribble into himself or even receive passes into, making him a dangerous scoring option. As for the defensive side of the ball, he's able to tackle players like Michael Kaiser, block shots from an awakened Barrow, and it's almost impossible to beat him in a 1v1 without good dribbling or analytical predictions. There's also the fact that most wingers are speedsters within the realm of soccer, so Chigiri is a perfect counter for them. Moving to the opposite side, I have Corona Rons. Now, this may be a shocker, but allow me to cook here. Corona is also one of Blue Lock's fastest players, and with his U20 World Cup training, his issue with stamina and cramping up should be solved by now. With Corona being able to make sharp cuts while maintaining top speed and acting as a satellite to any player he's around, it's essentially impossible to take the ball away from him on the attack. We even see that later on that Corona is very good at pressing his opponents, tackling players like Onazi and overpowering Tokimitsu. We even see him sub in for Hiyori and just blatantly outplay him in the 15 minutes that he's on the field. So we don't even need Hiyori, to be honest. I already know people are going to heavily disagree with that. To complete our back line, I went with a center-back pairing of Oliver Aiku and Ryu Jubei. It should be obvious why Aiku is here, one of the best Metavision users in the series, showing that he's on par and sometimes even surpassing Isagi in terms of outthinking him. His Metavision is also a very unique one, seeing the percentages of how successful a certain action can be, while he can also correctly guess the ego type of a player, which I can definitely make a video on explaining how he can do this. However, the reason I chose Ryu over Nico is for the simple fact that Aiku is just a better version of Nico. Having Nico on the field would work well with a back 3, back 5, or even as a CDM, but as a back 2, his lack of overall size is his downfall. We obviously know that he got stronger since the NEL, being able to outmuscle Kuso, but Ryu, based on his sheer height, should be around the same strength, along with being able to jump higher and having an overall longer reach. This would also include Ryu's understanding of space and being able to keep up with quicker players better than Nico can. Everything Nico is good at, Aiku already does better, so I think Ryu just adds more depth to the team. With the defense now complete, we can move to the midfield. Our first midfielder in this double pivot is Tabito Karasu. The Crow, or Assassin, was the only real choice here. Yes, there's Nico and Raichi, but the two of them don't bring nearly as much value as Karasu does at the center defensive mid position. Karasu is extremely good at playing the Claude Makalele role, a role in soccer where the CDM can lie back and protect the back four, breaking up opposition attacks and linking the defense to the attack. I mean, how many times have we seen Karasu steal a pass or gather a ball and immediately send it up the field for a counter or starting the counter himself? The answer is a lot. Along with having some of the best ball retention and metavision within the entire series, Karasu is a must-have in the CDM position for Japan, and nobody else on the team can truly fill his role. The other midfielder in this double pivot is the chameleon Reo Mikage. Capable of copying any player to 99% already makes you an irreplaceable piece, but having metavision and a body in peak physical condition due to Chris Prince's training makes Reo a true one of one. Whether he's on offense or defense, he has a copied move that works in almost any scenario. Need to defend a cross? Just copy Aiku. Need him to dribble and play make? He can just copy Sai or Bachira. Need him to score a goal for your team? He can just copy Rin Itoshi. The only limit to this guy's play is the fact that he can't copy people 100%, but funnily enough, that 1% doesn't matter 99% of the time. Reo is a true libero, running around the field, contributing in every way possible to help his team succeed. Moving to our top three midfielders, on the left side I have Meguru Bachira. Japan's buzzing bee is the team's best dribbler. Having been taught by Livigno, he incorporated Jinga into his monster-style dribbling, allowing him to dribble past basically any player he wants. He's also one of the most underrated playmakers in the entire series, and this playmaking ability is shown when he bagged a hat-trick of assists against Team Nigeria while scoring himself. The fact that he's a triple threat on the offensive end with his shooting, dribbling, and playmaking all being top tier, you simply can't replace a player like that. If you need someone out on the wing or playing as a high-playing outside midfielder, nobody on this Japan team would be above Bachira. On the right side, and this may be a shocker to some, I put Isagi Yoichi. I know, blasphemous, but allow me to explain. You already know what his abilities are. Best metavision user in Japan outside of probably Sai Itoshi, but of course I need to see him use more metavision and actually have confirmed metavision before I say that. His off-the-ball movement is second to none. The way he can adapt to situations if you give him too much time, or even on the fly, makes him one of the most dangerous players in the later stages of soccer matches. He's also able to incorporate not only luck, but the fastest puzzle piece into his play, allowing him to read the field faster than anybody else and take complete glory for the final goal, stealing the spotlight from any other player. But why do I have him as a right midfielder? Why not a striker or a cam? Simple. Almost everything I said he could do as a player, he did as a right midfielder for Bastard Munchen. It wasn't until Noah came on the field that he was pushed to a second striker alongside Kaiser and then stayed there for the rest of the PXG game. He only scored one goal as a striker in the NEL. Plus, there are more suitable players for both cam and striker on this team. Rounding out the midfield in my cam spot, I have Sai Itoshi, and yes, he counts. He's on the team, he just isn't playing until the knockouts. Sai Itoshi is one of the new generation World 11 and is a highly regarded player in the soccer world. It's implied he would be playing for La Real's main team if it weren't for age restrictions, and is even complimented by Luna for his skill. So far, he arguably has the best passing in the series and can even force players into a flow state like we see with Shido in the U20 game. There's also the plus of being one of the best dribblers in the entire series and a decent shooter as well. He can even create reflex plays with players of a far less caliber than world class. To those who might have forgot, Isagi and Hiyori say that you need to create goals that are on the same level as their reflex x reflex goal in the Ubers game in order to score in the PXG game. Sai is able to do this with a U20 game Shido, a Shido who was way worse than players like NEL Isagi, Hiyori, Shido, Rin, and Charles, meaning he essentially forced Shido into a position to perform a reflex x reflex goal. This is the level of passing we are talking about here. Nobody here is replacing Sai as a cam, mainly because he's better than every blue locker, but that's for another video. And last but not least, our lone striker at the top is none other than Rin Itoshi. Now, Some people may argue Isagi or maybe even Shido or Baro, but I just don't see how they get over Rin in terms of being a striker. He's a more consistent shooter than Shido and a more flexible shooter than Baro, a better playmaker and dribbler than both as well. He's more willing to drop back and help build up play and even defend more than both Shido and Baro as well. There's really no comparison. As for Isagi, Rin's overall physicality gives him the edge over Isagi, as Isagi even admits this himself. Isagi and Rin are almost the exact same in terms of playstyle. We see this in the second selection, even in the U20 game. That's until Rin reaches his destroyer state, amping all of his abilities by a major degree. He enters his true ego, taking anyone's strength and then crushing them at their best, being labeled an incomprehensible creature by Isagi. And now that he seems to have fairly good control over this other version of himself, he can't be foul baited by players like Igaguri anymore. If there's one striker in Blue Lock I want to center around my team, it is Rin Itoshi. But that's all for this video. I'll try to post more regularly in 2026, hopefully once or twice a month. I was thinking of doing in-depth reviews of Blue Lock leaks and just for the chapters in general. That could be like a weekly series I do as well. Fair warning though, they would be pretty low quality since it would just be me like explaining my thoughts without any real script, so you could get like a genuine reaction out of me. But that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.